Yo, this is me being lazy today. I have hours and hours of content recorded, and I just do not feel like editing it. Need to find some motivation on that as I go hit these streets, go watch a movie. Won't say what movie it is. Don't want to date this video. But yeah, man, it's been a journey since being back home in California. This will probably be the first piece of content that I release in a series of content, and yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting. Let me pick up this bag. Yeah, man. So I was in New York for 3 years, as a lot of my friends know. It was an amazing time there in New York. It is some place where I do want to live again for at least a year. I've got some things that are on my bucket list to knock off, and then I kind of want to be remote for a bit, just kind of be a nomad and live in different parts of the world before I eventually, settle down, have a family, put some babies in somebody. Yeah. So yeah, I was in New York and unexpectedly lost my job. Fully came out of nowhere. Told me I was safe. Had me mentoring and tutoring junior people. Even had me holding borderline office hours for people that were like stressed out. So it was like, all right, cool. When they did the first round of layoffs, told me I was safe. I'd rather they just told me I wasn't, because they're not going to just help them ease out and prepare a little bit better, versus just signing a brand new lease. So I ended up signing a brand new lease and losing my job 2 months later. And I'm always consulting and doing something on the side, but it's not like enough money to live in New York alone. So I was just slowly draining my finances, and I had a good 90K about saved up. I was planning on coming back to California, and planning on coming back to California, buying a house, living in it for like a year or so, and then from there, setting my mom up there so that she'd have a place of her own, and not necessarily have to live in an apartment, and then go off and tour the world. Didn't go as planned. So instead of immediately coming back home, I chose to try to tough it out. And so I drained out my savings, living the same style I was living when I was making a decent six-figure salary, because I was, a lot of ego, because I've never been without a job intentionally for more than 2 months. So I'm like, I'll get a job. And I was like doing side stuff, but just nowhere near to the amount I was actually making. And it was just, kind of humbling. Very humbling experience. Realize that this economy is changing. And you guys look at the stats for product managers. Salaries are coming down, and the number of available jobs are coming down. So you went from having people making, mid six figures and just making a lot of money to pretty much people are you're seeing senior level product manager jobs at like 120, 130 right now, which is just nuts to think about. Yeah, so I definitely had to deal with that, and I was fortunate enough to be able to come home to my family and be supported back here home in California, and just kind of adjusting to living back here again, having to have a car, kind of just having to reset. And it does play a very, very strong role in your mental health, because you kind of get identified by, especially as a man, is what you can do to help and what you can do to provide. And I'm not used to being broke ever. Even when I was broke, my best friend knows this. There's different types of broke. I'm real broke now, but at that time, broke for me was if I have less than 10K in my savings, I'm broke. That means something's going wrong. shit's backfiring. I gotta make changes. I gotta make moves. Now I'd be happy to see that kind of money in my account. And then now, basically what I've been doing now is driving for Uber, and that's been really good for my mental health, actually. Definitely get to talk to people, and then get to hear different perspectives. Like, I've had people in the film industry, the movie industry, the music industry. I've had other Uber drivers, and just like you get to just see all these different perspectives of life and how things work here in California. And I said, it's been really honestly, it's been really like eye-opening. I actually made a couple friends that were my Uber riders, and just turned out to be really dope people. Did some impromptu coaching sessions when I told some people that were in my car that were like clearly stressed out, like, well, I'm a mental health coach and I do this and this, and like I can tell that you're upset, but I won't voluntarily coach you. But if you'd like some help, I'm willing to do that. And they're open to it, and we had really good car sessions, and it was pretty cool. Since then, I've done stuff like that, but like more recently, like I'm starting to get the itch again. Always going to be more on the entrepreneurial side of things. I'm always going to be a risk taker, and eventually something's going to pop. And I've been working on something very recently, and I finally felt comfortable enough to make what I was working on public. Essentially, I wanted to work on helping businesses kind of automate their workflows, helping with their sales and helping with their coaching. And that's kind of what I've always done on my own anyway. But this time I've kind of systematized it. I've kind of got it to a point where I can make deliveries on a product within like 2 weeks, depending on how complicated it is. If it's like uber complicated, it might take longer than that. But it takes about 2 weeks now for me to go in, identify some problems or a problem, and then being able to solve it with a working solution. And I did that with my cousin unexpectedly. He wanted to pay me for some help with his business, and it's an old type of business, and it's kind of like you just need a lot of paperwork and a lot of stuff like that. And I was able to automate it. I've retaught myself how to write code. And what's funny is, like, I've been using ChatGPT to help me with code, and it spit out some code, and it just old Alton kicked in. As soon as it spit out the code, I was like, ew, like why would I use this? Like, this just seems very inefficient. Wouldn't it be better do this, and this? And then ChatGPT would be like, oh yeah, you're right, and then flip the code and make it more efficient. Like, okay, cool, that's a lot better. Boom, and then I can use that code. And then also learned that ChatGPT is very agreeable, because sometimes I would say the same thing, like, oh, well, wouldn't it be better to do this? But really, that was the wrong answer. And ChatGPT would be like, yeah, you're right. And it would go make those changes. And then I started getting really nervous. I'm like, oh man, like, I got to really pay attention. So that should be a big point to people out there who are thinking that you're going to get rid of developers and replace them with AI. Basically, we're a long ways out from that, because ChatGPT and all these other tools are just not the best at understanding code initially. I'm sure there's other tools out there that are working that will be better. But yeah, it's been really cool teaching myself how to code again, teaching myself data concepts and data engineering again, and just going back to my roots. Never really, like, I did data because I was good at it, but not because I wanted to, but now it's kind of what everybody's doing. So it's going to be kind of cool to kind of see what I can do in that space on my own as I'm navigating this employment space. And obviously, if I find something that's like good and worth my time of, separating away for a bit, then I would take that and then use that to, rebuild my funds. And throughout this process, I've discovered that I've had really good friends and really good relationships. I've also been on the other side of that, so I guess you kind of reap the benefits of good karma. So I know growing up, like, I've had friends stay with me for free, fed them, clothed them, whatever they needed, because that's the way my mom was. Well, my mom is, she's still alive. Like, that's the way my mom is. We just take care of people debt that I was paying from a lot of, startup work and different business stuff that didn't go well or just kind of flamed out while being in New York and trying to balance a bunch of different things. But yeah, like that debt will be easily paid off within a year. Like I have my cap on my friendship debt. And then a lot of people have asked me about my comedy and my stand-up, and I've been getting hit up about that a lot. And that was going really well in New York. Like it was going really well. Bombed my first show in New York. First show I bombed since I was 18. But it taught me a valuable lesson. You have to adapt to the crowd, and you can't skip steps, right? I was told that you might have a set that's funny in front of one crowd, but completely bombs in front of a different crowd. So you have to perfect that set to a point where it's funny in front of any crowd, and that is the skill that you have to learn. And I watched a comedian, I wish I could remember his name, but he's been in the game for like 15 years, seasoned, hilarious. He's just like me, he's a storyteller comic, but he had a punchline every 15 to 30 seconds in his 15-minute closing act, and it was hilarious. It was one story about him going through relationships, eventually finding the right woman, eventually having a kid with the right woman, and now being a happy father, dad, in a relationship. And I thought that was really cool to hear that story, but also have it be like non-stop funny for the entire 15 minutes. That was definitely inspirational. Definitely still been writing. Other people have asked me about the TV show that I started recording and the pilot that I recorded. Definitely still have all the material we recorded. One of the scenes had really bad audio, so we couldn't get it edited. And then we had a few people on staff just go through different sorts of mental health issues. And I've been trying to get everybody together, but it's not working. So I might just take what I have footage-wise and just chop it up into something like 3 to 5 minutes that's digestible and just put it out there. But I've also been writing a couple other series that are more closer to what I want to do. And it's funny that I keep bumping into different people in the film and TV industry that are like, hey man, like what are you working? What are you doing? What are you working on? And they do seem genuinely willing to help. But who knows? Like I've always been on the path of you have to put it out yourself and make people come to you versus someone's going to give you a handout and then you're going to, all of a sudden be doing well and putting on a show or something like that. Like no, I'm gonna work on this, and yeah, I'll reach out to you. Hopefully, able to get some help or whatever. But realistically, like I'm gonna do whatever I can to get this done myself. And I think that new Google AI tool might even be a way for me to do it without ever needing any help ever. I think that would be pretty cool. But yeah, it's just been a real tough, change for me. I do at this point in my life prefer New York over LA, just because all my single friends are there. I don't need a car. It's easy to get around. LA, all my close friends are here. My family friends are here. I do have a couple close friends in New York, but all my close friends and family are here. But everybody's married with kids now, and it's like it just makes me being a single man trying to make things happen by myself. It's kind of hard to do.